Hey now, hour number 2 of the line, Talk 99.5, talk995.com, Andrew Mclain, who.com, and on the YouTube, Real Talk 99.5 TV. And as I've been telling you guys, I'm on TikTok. Y'all can talk to me during the commercial breaks if you have the old TikTok. Just a little separate feature for you. In case you want some extras, in case you want some behind the scenes. During that last break, John Bird came in here and started flexing his muscles out of nowhere.
Yep, I'm ready for Mandy, man. I'm ready.
He did.
Forget that acid reflux.
He did.
I'm going to kick that acid reflux's ass. I just want to start off the hour with a joke just to make everybody happy.
Okay. But yeah, again, find us on YouTube. Isn't that right, John Bird?
Yes, find us on the YouTube.
Find us on YouTube, right over there. There, they have that, just like that.
Find us on the YouTube.
That's all right. You were excited.
Darn it.
You find me. Listen, you've been off for 15 months, bro, and I know it's been like 2 months since you've been back.
Not quite.
Not quite, but you've got to do a lot more than you did before you left. And you're actually less panicked now that you have more to do than you were when you had less to do.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
That 15 months builds patience. Yeah. Oh, it was brutal.
But now you're a new man. You're technically retired.
Mm-hmm.
You think about that. You technically are retired.
Yes, with many hobbies that bring in money, maybe.
Yeah. This is just John Bird's just doing this for fun. We actually thought about bringing him in and not paying him, which would have been.
Yeah, that didn't work too well.
The corporate wouldn't let that fly for whatever reason. If you want to get in, 205-545-9950. Would love to hear from you, as the Iranian regime has until 7 p.m. Central Time to make a deal. Only the president knows what he's going to do. From what we're hearing and what we understand, the people in Trump's cabinet don't even know what Donald Trump is going to do at 7 p.m. They don't know if he's going to say go for it or don't go for it or give him some more time. You really can't give him any more time. Whether you blow up power plants and bridges, you got to do something at 7 p.m. You can't make this threat and not follow through with it. And Donald Trump is in the business of negotiating, and sometimes you have to make threats that you don't necessarily intend on following through with. But at the same time, when you're dealing with a negotiating prospect, you've got to show them that your threats aren't hollow, that they actually mean something. And when you say you're going to do something, you're going to do something. But at the same time, seem unpredictable. And that's what it is. With the media flipping out about Donald Trump and the tweet he sent out on Sunday and calling for the 25th Amendment and all this kind of stuff, it'll actually helps Donald Trump, because the media and the talking heads and the podcasters and everything else, they're out there online saying Donald Trump is a crazed individual and he will actually do this stuff. That's good. I mean, even though I think you guys are idiots, that's good. That helps Donald Trump because it reinforces the idea to the Iranian regime that Donald Trump will actually do this. This is not your grandpappy's president that would make threats and not follow through. This is not your grandpappy's president that will play ball with countries until they acquire a nuclear weapon. This is a whole different ball game. If we had strong presidents that were actually interested in keeping the world safe and keeping bad actors from having nuclear weapons, North Korea wouldn't have a nuclear weapon. But yet they do. Why? Because of weak leadership, because of weak presidents, because of puppets. Case in point, Obama gives the Iranian regime $150 billion. All right? And every Democrats will always say, well, it was a court. A court told Obama that he had to send Iran 150 million. I don't care what a court said. I don't care what a court here, a court, an international court, or whatever. There are ways in the legal system to appeal and to get around. If you are president of the United States, to get around what some schmarmy judge says. But Obama saw that as an opportunity to say, well, it's out of my hands. I got to send my Muslim brothers over at the IRGC $150 billion. And Obama's line of thinking, at least what he put out to the public, or he wanted you to believe, was that it's okay because we're going to send this money and the Iranian regime is going to rebuild their infrastructure. They're going to do things that help the Iranian people and make their lives better, make Iran a better place to live. And none of that happened. Actually, last week, the Saudi crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, came out, did a speech, and said that Obama gave $150 billion to Iran when he was in office, and that the regime did not even build a single street with that money. That instead, they used that money to make missiles and drones and to fortify their proxy armies in the region like Hamas, like Hezbollah. With those funds, Iran offers a safe harbor to the leaders of al-Qaeda, including one of Osama bin Laden's sons, who was indoctrinated in jihadism. Everybody in the Middle East knows that, and that was Barack Obama's way of destabilizing the Middle East. And Obama did this all in public view. Well, most of it. This was a direct threat against Israel and American allies in the region. Obama knew that. Obama always brought chaos with him and left a trail of destruction. He took actions to spread this chaos and evil all across the Middle East. And that was just one example of it, a very big example. But what we're doing now is we're cleaning up Barack Obama's mess that he made with $150 billion. At the end of the day, if we could prevent everybody from having a nuclear weapon, that'd be great. I mean, I'd even say Israel doesn't need a nuclear weapon. I think the only people that need a nuclear weapon is us. And if there was an assurance that nobody has or would have a nuclear weapon, I'd be like, okay, we don't have to have one either. But because of weak leadership, because presidents of the past have allowed this to happen, we are now in this situation. And there are certain countries that it was like you either let them have a nuclear weapon or you get a little, you know what. John Bird, do you remember who the last president was to oppose Israel having a nuclear weapon? And who knows if they really do or not. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But do you remember the last president that said Israel shouldn't have a nuclear weapon?
No.
It was JFK.
Oh, man, that far back.
And you saw what happened to him.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But what I'm saying is the world would be better off if nuclear weapons just weren't a thing. But that's not the reality. But because it is the reality, the only thing you can do is to make sure that the crazed individuals don't have a nuclear weapon. If Israel's got one, that's fine. They're not run by crazed individuals. They may be run by corrupt individuals, extremely corrupt individuals. It may not always have America's best interest at heart, but they're not going to launch a nuke in America. The Iranian regime, on the other hand, can and would launch a nuke at America, would launch a nuke at Israel, and we can't let either one of those things happen. And it all traces back to Obama. I did a big spiel on Obama last week when Pam Bondi got fired about how that guy's at the center of all of it. He really is. He's in the middle of all of it and should be prosecuted as such. But that may never happen. That probably won't ever happen. Anyway, back to the rescue mission as of yesterday, that was being talked about yesterday. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, said yesterday, that Iran was embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the daring rescue mission of the downed U.S. Air Force officer from behind enemy lines. That was a gift to the Iranians when Thursday night they shot down the F-15E fighter jet in what was a mountainous southwest region of the country. It was Dude Bravo 44. He was injured quite seriously, they said. Bleeding, Donald Trump used the words, bleeding profusely. The Iranians had every opportunity to capture this pilot and weren't able to do it. So it was, in fact, a big embarrassment. Here's the quote from John Ratcliffe yesterday at the press conference. He said, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective of finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night. Our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission. So the CIA, with the information that they had, said the Iranians were completely embarrassed by this, as they should be. I shot down a fighter jet, and all I got was this stupid pair of underwear. You can make those T-shirts and start dropping them off in Tehran. But that's all in the past at this point. Now we're faced with the ultimatum. What is Iran going to do? There's something, by the way, and this doesn't get a lot of coverage, and nobody really talks the details about the negotiations, but what's called the Islamabad Accord. The Islamabad Accord is Pakistan scrambling to broker a last-minute ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran because, in one sense, Pakistan relies on a good bit of stuff, including oil, from Iran. They don't want this to continue, so they have been a big partner in trying to bring a solution to this. So they came up with the Islamabad Accords, trying to broker a ceasefire and trying to do it before Donald Trump's final ultimatum hits tonight. They are signaling. Actually, Iran's ambassador to Pakistan is signaling that diplomatic efforts are reaching a critical, sensitive stage, which is kind of a no-brainer. I think we all understand that. He took to social media to announce that secret diplomatic endeavors to end the current regional war are reaching a critical, sensitive stage. He's praising Pakistan for its goodwill and good office in trying to stop the conflict. He said Pakistan positive and productive endeavors in goodwill and good office to stop the war is approaching a critical, sensitive stage. Stay tuned for more. Now, remember, this is the Iranian government official that is the diplomat in Pakistan saying that we're coming to a conclusion and an agreement, hopefully, that Pakistan is helping broker, but we don't know if that's actually going to happen. He doesn't know if that's actually going to happen. As a matter of fact, the last thing we've gotten in the media from Iran as far as the negotiation goes is Iran rejecting a Pakistan-brokered ceasefire and countering with a 10-point list of demands from us. They're demanding 10 different things from us. I'll tell you what those are on the other side. Yeah. This is a good one.
Yeah, I used to not like the White Stripes, but I'm coming around, man.
They've got some good ones.
Yeah,
that
they
never
really do.
were
You've got like 3 of them on here that are just that are killer.
And there's a guitar solo in that song. It's actually really good.
Yeah, he's really unique. He's definitely made his name in the music industry as far as guitar players
Yeah,
and songwriters.
By the way, today Artemis 2 begins their journey back to Earth. The mission in itself, one, is notable because it's the furthest humans have traveled into the universe. But also, when you look at the map of what they had to do, as we know, they launched and they kind of slingshotted around the Earth towards the moon. They had to do it at a specific time. I mean, they had to time it just perfectly because as the rotation goes, it has to hit where the moon is moving, or rotating or whatever at the exact time to then come back around.
Get that slingshot, yep.
And, as they went on the backside of the moon yesterday, they lost connection with Earth for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would think they would have figured something out because that goes all the way back to Apollo that they would lose communication. I would think that, that 50 years later they would have, figured something out.
No, it's not like we've ever been to the moon before, so.
Andrew.
I'm just saying, maybe we have, maybe we haven't. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I want to get in. So Pakistan brokers this ceasefire deal. Iran rejects it. This is the latest that we know on the negotiations. Everything else is tight-lipped. They transmitted their response to the U.S. through Pakistan intermediaries, dismissing calls for a temporary truce and insisting instead on a permanent end to the war on their terms. They said, and this was in response to the Islamabad Accords to prevent total annihilation of the Iranian state, but they don't care. There were 2 phases that the U.S. was asking for. Phase 1 was immediate ceasefire and reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, and the second phase was 15 to 20 days of negotiations towards a broader peace deal, which would have involved giving up what enriched uranium they have and everything else. But according to Reuters, Iranian officials outlined a 10-point counter-proposal that reportedly includes this. This is what the Iranians came back with. They said, 1, a full and permanent end to all hostilities, such as no more accountability for attacking U.S. interest or choking global oil supplies. Immediate lifting of all crippling U.S. economic sanctions. The establishment of a new security framework in the region that would neuter Americans' allies and legitimize Iran's terror proxies. Ironclad guarantees for safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz under Iranian terms, of course. A massive Western-funded reconstruction commitment to repair the damage from their own provocations. So they want us to pay to rebuild Iran. They wanted no restrictions whatsoever on Iran's nuclear weapons program. They wanted an end to any curbs on its ballistic missile development. They wanted the U.S. to withdraw forces from key areas in the Persian Gulf. They wanted reparations payments for damages caused by Trump's targeted strikes.
Come on, man.
And they wanted formal recognition of Iran's legitimate influence across the Middle East, including Hezbollah, the Houthis, and the Hamas terror networks. And that is likely when the famous Power Plant Day and Bridge Day tweet came out. Was right after that Iranian proposal. Just a guess, but I'm assuming that is what Trump was responding to back on Sunday. 205-545-9950. Mandu bringing you this part of the show. Mandu.com. MANDUU.com. I'll be at Mandu tomorrow, getting my workout in, flexing these muscles, baby. Look at that. Look at that. Boom,
Dang,
boom,
man,
boom.
that's just insane.
Always, if I get it just in the right lighting, I can you can see that definition. Actually, I think Jolie, this may just a subject to change because we've had to move the day around, but Paul's wife, Jolie, is going to come by, I think on Thursday, maybe about 11, and talk a little bit about Mandu with us and give you guys some insight, maybe from a female perspective. So those of you that are females, because I always get worried about that the name Mandu throws people off because it's got the word man in it. It is not just for men.
No.
It's for men, women, young people, old people, middle-aged people, people with back problems, people with bad knees or bad shoulders. Everything is so customizable, so they make sure you're comfortable during the whole process. And it's only 15 minutes. I mean, how much agony can you go through in 15 minutes? It's no time at all. And plus, there is no agony. It's not painful. It basically, when you think about electrical stimulation, you think about shocking, you think about a TENS unit, but really at the end of the day, it just feels like a vibration. It just feels like you're wearing this suit that's vibrating, and it is. It's vibrating your muscles and essentially causing that. When your muscle growth happens, it's basically your muscles tear, and then when they heal back bigger and they heal back stronger. Plus, if you implement protein in the mix, protein fills in those gaps and makes your muscles even bigger. But not only does it do that and build your muscle, but it boosts your metabolism. It causes you to lose weight. It causes you to just be overall a more healthy person. And I want that for you. I want that for the summertime. I want that. And y'all got to understand, man, you're going to see results fast. I mean, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And it's going to shock you. You're going to be shocked. They got the InBody machine. You can use it every single time you go up there if you want. It basically gauges everything, gives you your muscle mass, your weight, everything you can think of when it comes to your progress that you can see in real time. They've got that there for you because it works. I mean, they wouldn't want to show you. They wouldn't want to put you on a scale if you weren't actually making progress, but they know you're going to. You got a personal trainer and everything else, so get to Mandu. 3 locations, Homewood, Huntsville, and Tuscaloosa. No matter where you sign up, you can also go to the other ones if it's closer or more convenient for you. Like if you live in Birmingham, but you work in Tuscaloosa, you can do the Tuscaloosa one. However you want to do it. All the information online, mandu.com, MANDUU.com. Every single one of y'all have a free session. You can try it for free and then decide if you want to do it. That's all I ever ask you to do is do the free session. I don't ask you to do anything else. Just try it out, see what you think. And then if you like it, sign up. If you don't like it, move on. It's fine. It's no big deal. Just move on and be unhealthy. I just want y'all to get in shape. That's all. So anyway, back to Iran, and I'll get to the phones in a moment. Iran ejects the Pakistan brokered ceasefire deal. They say, no way, Jose, we're not going to do it. That was then what I believe, I don't have confirmation of this, but I think that is what prompted the tweet from Donald Trump with the F-bomb and everything else. And he says, hey, this is it. It's power plant day coming up tomorrow or coming up Tuesday. And at the end of the day, it's not anything that should be surprising to anyone because he, 10 days ago, told them, you've got a 10-day window to figure out what you're going to do. Well, that's over now. Actually, that was 10 days was yesterday. Originally, through their negotiators, and I think through Steve Witkoff, they asked for 7 days to make a decision on what they're going to do. They say, give us 7 days. All right? And Donald Trump says, I tell you what, I'll do you one better. I'll give you 10 days. 10 days, and if you don't make a decision, all hell is going to break loose. Well, 10 days was yesterday. He has been gracious enough to give them 11 days, and the 11th is today. Coming up at 7 p.m., it's make or break time. And Iran is in such a state of desperation in the lead up to this deadline that they urged children and young people to form human shields at the power plants in anticipation of this strike. So they have encouraged their women and children and young people to go to the power plants and go to the bridges and stand there all day. And John Burns, you can look up here. That seems to be what has been done. The Iranians have taken their women and children and they have put them, I don't know how widespread this is, but there's videos circulating online of civilians standing on these bridges and standing around these power plants.
How could they still want this? How could they still want the way they're living?
And who knows? I mean, this could have been the Iranian regime going to homes around these towns at gunpoint and saying, hey, you're going to get out here, you're going to go to this bridge, and you're going to wave the Iranian flag or we're going to kill you. These people could be hostages for all we know. But they've got them out there, assuming that this is accurate. These are videos that we're getting, and we know that Iran is in the business of propaganda, but the videos seem to indicate that that is, in fact, what you have going on. And I know that Donald Trump is not going to want to make the call to bomb bridges that are full of citizens or power plants. But I do believe that there is a plan B. I don't know what that is, but our military is so technologically advanced that I can see there being a way around this. I don't see Donald Trump saying, we're calling off the dogs, we're not going to attack the power grid and the bridges because the mullahs in Iran have outsmarted us by putting people at those locations. I don't see that happening. But it also needs to be noted that the people that we're dealing with here are very evil. So evil that they will take women and children and put them in places where they know bombs are going to drop. You can't tell me that these people aren't evil and that these people don't have it within them to launch a nuclear weapon at our allies or even us one day. If they're willing to kill their own citizens, I mean, come on. You really, if you're against all of this, you have really got to think about who it is we're dealing with and the tactics that they are using. They've watched the United States military pummel them into oblivion over the past several weeks. They've watched their entire military be dismantled. They know how serious we are about this mission. So when they go get their women and children and they put them at those locations, they do so knowing that there is a chance that those individuals are going to end up as ashes. Evil, evil individuals running that country. Earlier today, or I guess late last night, the IDF, the Israeli army, issued a nationwide warning to Iranian civilians. And this just goes back to the fact that in this mission, we are looking out for the Iranian civilians. This is just kind of a side quest, if you will, in the pursuit to disarm Iran from having a nuclear weapon, is to free the civilians of Iran and to give them their country back. We don't want to kill civilians. We don't. So the IDF issues a nationwide message to the Iranian civilians saying, stay off the trains over the next several hours because it could ultimately lead to your demise. They said urgent warning to users of train passengers, urgent warning to users and train passengers in the country of Iran. Dear citizens, for the sake of your security, we kindly request that from this moment until 2100 Iran time, you refrain from using and traveling by train throughout Iran. Your presence on trains and near railways endangers your life. They sent that out yesterday. And guess what they did this morning? They started bombing the railways. They started bombing the trains. They are bombing the infrastructure. And again, this goes back to the bridges and everything else to cripple the Iranian regime's power because they have, if they don't have a way to continue to bring in money, they have no power. Money was their power, which is why the Obama $150 billion was so detrimental. Their power comes from weapons and money and funding terror groups and funding their own regime and keeping this oppressive government afloat. And that's been the mission in the bombing. Not only kill the senior IRGC leaders, but to cripple them economically. That would be the case for most regimes. If you can cripple them economically, then there's nowhere for them to turn. That's why the conversation's about Card Island. And so here we are. Here we are with new videos in Iran showing human chains being formed outside of power plants in the state, across bridges. What will the president do? What call will he make at 7 p.m. tonight? He tweeted out first thing this morning, about 7 a.m. our time. He said, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran. So according to that, he seems to be mission focused at this point. And I would imagine at the time of that tweet, he already knew about the human chains that are allegedly forming on bridges and power plants because we are dominating the Iranian skies. We're seeing everything that's going on the ground. So this is not something that's going to be a surprise to Donald Trump or the Trump administration or even the military. They know. And they, again, likely have a backup plan. Something will happen at 7 p.m. tonight. Will it be a military action or will it be a deal being reached? We don't know. But either way, it's going to be a big deal. But nobody is paying attention to that part of it. Everybody gets distracted by words or what's said, just like the F-bomb that was dropped on Sunday. People freaking out about it. I mean, people on the left, on the right, all across the board. I've seen Sean Ryan get upset about it. I've seen, and these are people I highly respect. I've seen Tucker Carlson go on a tirade about, how dare you say the F word on Easter Sunday? How dare you talk like this as president? How dare you mock Islam? It's a little weird, but, again, I still respect Tucker Carlson for whatever it's worth. But people are just bent out of shape. And then this tweet comes along where he says a whole civilization will die tonight. And people are freaking out. Marjorie Taylor Greene, everybody got their panties in a wad, and they are now convinced that Donald Trump, his next move is to kill large numbers of civilians or that he's going to nuke Iran. And I'm like, why does everybody seem so new? Why does everybody seem like everybody acts like this is the first time they've followed Donald Trump during a negotiation? Donald Trump has been a national politician for a decade. Anyone still reacting to the guy's negotiating tactics and hyperbole with this sort of hysteria 10 years in should be disqualified from political commentary. That's the way I feel about it. If you are still watching Donald Trump using the same negotiating tactics that he's been using in the political world for 10 years, and you're still freaking out and running around with your head on fire, you should just be quiet about politics for a little bit. Now, if he nukes Iran at 7 p.m. tonight, I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe Donald Trump did want to kill a bunch of civilians. But chances are I'm not going to be wrong about that. And when he doesn't nuke and kill thousands and thousands of civilians or bomb a bunch of innocent people, this group of people that are running around like a chicken with their head cut off will admit nothing and find some other comment that Donald Trump has made to be scandalized by. It's just over and over and over. And I see respectable people falling into that trap. And it's like, just chill, man. Donald Trump's not going to go out here and just aimlessly kill civilians. But that's what he said on Twitter. Oh, my God. It's bizarre to me that if it's your first day paying attention to politics and paying attention to Donald Trump, I understand. I give you a pass. If you're new to the politics game, completely understand why that tweet would freak you out. But Donald Trump's been doing this for 10 years now. And you're acting as if, and I'm strictly talking to the people on the right. I'm talking to conservatives. You're acting just like the left. You're taking words and you're taking things that Donald Trump says and you're saying, oh, it's time for the 25th Amendment. Oh, my God, Donald Trump's finally lost it this time. How many times do we got to go through this? It's the same song and dance. You're going to come back around and guess what we're going to be talking about tomorrow? We're going to be talking about how Donald Trump was put in a really tough situation with this power plant and bridges and negotiations. And he ended up taking chicken-ish and turning it into chicken salad. But yeah, man, that's it. Everybody needs to chill out. I'm watching too many respectable people make themselves look like jabronis on the internet. It's just, I mean, is that not bizarre to you, Jumper? Like, we just all of a sudden act like, Donald Trump's in the business, like he's going to nuke Iran or something. Yeah, and in a lot of cases, these are people that were against this operation in the first place.
Yeah.
But the hysteria is a mirror image of what they do on the left and what they do in the media. Freaking out about the words, about the language that Donald Trump uses. And it's like,
yeah, I mean, he's just letting them know that he's not going to be deterred.
no.
He's sending out that message. You better. And, and he's given them, excuse me, more than what I think Donald Trump normally would.
Oh, yeah. We've given him so much leeway that it's do or die time. I mean, something has to happen because we're not going to drag this off any further. And the thing about Donald Trump is, in his mind, like, we don't have any more time to waste. Like, this has got to come to an end. We got to get this over with. We have to eliminate the nuclear threat, and we got to get the Strait of Hormuz opened back up to settle the global markets down. Because the economy aspect of things is very important to him, and we don't want to get to a point where the gas prices are then affecting the price of stuff on the store shelves, which will come after so long. It is a priority for him, and I think you're going to see a swift change very quickly once this ends. And listen, 4 to 6 weeks was the timeline. We're still within that timeline. So let's just see how tonight plays out. Brett's on the line. Brett, what's up?
Hey, Mr. Goebbels, can you hold me over to the top of the hour?
Who Goebbels? Who is that?
Mr. Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels.
Who's Joseph Goebbels?
You know him?
Uh-uh.
You don't know who that is?
No.
That's your uncle. He's in your bloodline somewhere.
Joseph Goebbels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about him.
Okay, Andrew. All right. So, Andrew, do you think if you're dealing with lunatic people, do you think you should tell them when you're going to attack them?
Okay. All right, Brett. I will. I'll hold you over to the top of the hour. So hang on for me. Because I'm sure, as you always do, you have a fascinating point to make. And not to mention, the audience loves when you call in. They absolutely love it. They actually will text me about it for the next 30 minutes. Back after this